Hi, BookTube. It's Gina, and I'm back from vacation, settling back into my routine, and I wanted to say hi, check in, and share some books with you. So if you don't know, I was on vacation last week. I went to Las Vegas with my sisters, and we ate, we drank, we sat around by the pool. It was in the 100, 105, 107 degree range, but we had shade and beverages, and it was just a wonderful, relaxing, and enjoyable trip. Although I kind of forgot how to travel. Have any of you traveled since the kind of travel bans have been lifted? I couldn't. It was like I couldn't remember how to go through security. So it was kind of funny, but it came back to me. Although it did feel a little bit weird. So I'm glad to be home, safe and sound, and I thought I would share some Star Trek books and some Shakespeare, which is an interesting combination. And where else can you share Shakespeare books and Star Trek and have people go, yay, so cool. Let's start with my Shakespeare pile, because this is my third place books signed first edition club that I get every other month. They send me a book that is signed, that's a new release, and then usually they'll send something sort of along with it. And this has got a Shakespeare theme, which I thought was fantastic. I'm not actually familiar with this book, but they send this little sort of introductory kind of flyer with a bookmark, and it tells you a little bit about the book. So the book that they sent me is All's Well by Mona Awad. And I'm not familiar with this book, but it's a new release. It's signed, it's beautiful. And apparently it is set with a person who's trying to stage a production of a Shakespeare play. She wants to do All's Well That Ends Well, and someone else, the rest of the cast, wants to do Macbeth. So that is fun. But the companion that they sent with this is actually a beautiful copy of All's Well That Ends Well, the Folger Shakespeare Library Edition, which is annotated and has a lot of notes and an introduction and a modern perspective at the end. So that is looking really fun. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think that this might be a really fun thing to read for Shakestember next month, the month-long Shakespeare event on BookTube. This might be a fun sort of dual read to read All's Well That Ends Well, and then All's Well, a modern-ish, not a retelling, but a set in. And I love Shakespeare. I've never actually read a Shakespeare play, which I find really interesting since I was an English major in college and I managed to get through my entire college career without taking a Shakespeare class. And I love watching Shakespeare in the park. It's one of my greatest joys, but I've never actually read anything. So this, I think, is maybe somebody telling me it's time for me to read some Shakespeare and a companion book. And then secondly, I went to the thrift store and bought some Star Trek books. I am a co-host of the Book Trek 2021. I'll link all the other hosts below. We are reading Star Trek for the next 5 months. So in August, we're reading the original series books. And then next month, we're going to be reading books from the next generation, and on through December. I'll leave all the details below. So since I'm not familiar with Star Trek books at all, I've been just buying ones I find at the thrift store for cheap because I'm just kind of exploring and trying to see what I like and what I don't like. But it's a really fun excuse to buy books. And some of these Star Trek books, I showed you some of these already from my first haul a while ago, but I bought another stack. So these are the paperbacks that I bought. And the first one is Bloodthirst by J.M. Dillard. So this is an original series book. And then I have these two. I bought these two. One is, they're called The Captain's Table. This one is War Dragons, and it's the original series, so I'll probably read this one this month in August. And then I noticed that there was also a Next Generation, The Captain's Table, so I don't know if this is a series within a series. This is Dejonian's Horde. So this one I might get to next month for the Next Generation. So I'm going to do a little more research on this. And then I also got two more Next Generation paperbacks, Nightshade and Masks. Aren't those fun? I'm so excited about reading these books. Also found some hardbacks, which are a lot of fun. Probably not something I will keep forever. I'm not sure. They're going to take up a lot of space. But a Diane Duane Next Generation, Dark Mirror, Carmen Carter, The Devil's Heart, A Q Squared by Peter David. Q is one of my favorite Next Generation characters, so I will probably try to get to that one because that just sounds like a lot of fun. And then one Voyager. So I'm watching Voyager right now. This is Pathways by Jerry Taylor, who's a co-creator of this series. And I'm in the process of watching all of the Voyager episodes, and I'm loving it. I've heard some mixed reviews, and so I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd never seen a Voyager episode before. So I'm really enjoying this, but we're not going to get to Voyager for a couple months. So this one's will get piled up in my TBR. And then lastly, these last two hardbacks are Federation by Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens. And this one is Kirk and Picard. I think this is sort of a crossover, and I'm definitely going to read this one this month to transition from the original series to the Next Generation. And you guys, I forgot how cute William Shatner was when he was young. This was so much fun to be rewatching the series and reading these books. And I just finished reading my first Star Trek book. I'm going to do a review of that, so I'll talk about that more. But it was so much fun to get more depth from the characters that I've kind of had in my brain for my entire life. So I'll talk about Strangers from the Sky in a separate video. And then lastly, I got Star Trek Ship of the Line, the first voyage of the Starship Enterprise E. So I think this will be my crossover from the original series to Next Generation. And then I think this will be my first Next Generation. I think that's supposed to be the Kelsey Grammer character that was lost in like a time warp for a billion years and didn't know it. But I'm not familiar with this at all, but it says it's the first. So this might be a fun one to start with. So that is my haul. I got a bunch of fun books. I'm going to keep looking for Star Trek books at the thrift store because they're so much fun to find, and it's a fun excuse to buy books. And wait a minute, let me show you. Here's my foster kitten. Here's our foster baby for the time being. This is Sydney, and she's hanging out with us while we give her some eye medication and gets healthy. So Star Trek. I'm having a blast with Book Trek 2021. Review to come. And until then, I will talk to you later. Bye.